Yes.
Where did you get your musical talent or drive from?
Who?
Well, not Maria, like your husband.
This is like in middle school when we'd all throw food and then he'd say, "Hey, you!" and we all went, "Who are you talking to?" Well, my grandma, he asked where I got my musical drive from. Oh, I guess I'm still trying to get it. My grandma played piano all the time and she sang, and so when we visit her, she was in Cooperstown. The last name's Wyckoff. There were just a few Wyckoffs in the area. Incidentally, we're playing at the Wyckoff Library in New Jersey, which I'm really excited about. That's my last name. But so whenever I'd go there, she'd say, "Oh, play some songs on the flute," and then she'd start playing on piano. She wrote tons and tons of music, and she grew up around the Thousand Islands. And then she passed it on to my dad, and then when I started very young, I was really bad for a year, and then once I learned how to make a sound on the flute, it got much better and much faster. So ever since the 5th grade, I wanted to be a professional flute player. I remember saying that in class when I was in 5th grade, so it hasn't changed since that time. And I guess just really good teachers. It's just all about the teachers you have, and that you have the support to be able to do it, I think. A lot of people think it's all talent and the person just was born like that, but it's just being driven to lessons and practicing, having the right support network, all those things I think are what help. Anyone, how about in the very back? Oh, a youngster, yes, go ahead.
What's your favorite piece to play?
Oh, what a good speaker. You must have had speaking performance in class, right? I think everyone heard you here. Well, my favorite piece is probably the last one that we just did, Walking the Woods in Twilight. So if any of you want to leave, it's a great time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that one's a great one, that Walking the Woods, but I think Ghost Ship is still one of my favorites because it's just so atmospheric, and I love the harmonies, the chords. Both Maria's compositions, by the way, so good job.
Yeah, just say that. I think my favorite thing to play is just making something up. Like, improvising is my absolute favorite thing. And I love making mistakes in concert. I've already made several, if you haven't noticed. But when you make a mistake, you're just released, because you're not perfect. And then you get over being perfect, and then you just have a fun time. So I like improvising and making mistakes.
Anyone, last one? Last question? Yes, up here.
Scooter,
Yes.
how many years did you play the violin?
How many years did she might have to give away her age to answer that, but I've actually had 2 people ask her age already.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just turned 37 yesterday, so thank you. And I got to celebrate with my brother and sister in Toronto right before this concert, so thank you for bringing me north and giving me a good time for my birthday. So I started when I was 4, so that's how long I've been playing. However, I never practiced when I was young. I just fought over practicing because my mom was very forceful. And it's the opposite story for Sean. He just sat in trees and on trucks and on the roof playing the flute and never once was told to practice. And in my case, it was always a fight. So actually, when I turned 12, I changed teachers and he figured it out that I wasn't practicing. So he told me to go to his house and do 2 hours a day and lent me this violin, which I still play today, if I did that. So that's how I got into practicing. And I definitely swear by it, but I also swear by not practicing. And because you forget your bad habits and working on other things like singing, dancing, because at a certain point, your awareness, you develop blind spots when you practice the same thing too much. So it's good to get out of that and try different things. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a very long answer to your question. There was one last question over there that I didn't want to... Yes?
What was it like being in Riverdance?
Oh, she asked what it was like being in Riverdance. So it was super fun. It was my first job. I was still at Juilliard when I became the understudy for the Broadway show. And it was really scary too, because it was over 2 hours of music that we had to memorize, and they didn't have it properly written out. So even like the day of the first show, the fiddler was showing me, oh, you do this little interlude while sets are changing, and so I was petrified. But after being petrified for about a week of doing it, then it was wonderful, because a lot of the parts aren't written out, so you get to improvise, and that's kind of how I got into doing movement with violin playing. And Sean would come visit me on tour, and he'd become the salesperson. So he'd run up and down the aisles, and he set some records for sales, and he'd sing opera and do all this stuff. So it was really fun. It was a great first job. Yeah.